Hello, hello. Happy Thursday to you. Today we are going to talk about foods to help prevent Alzheimer's disease. The good news is that there are many foods. Let me see if I can position my camera here. There we are. There are many foods that are actually great for your brain and delicious that can help prevent Alzheimer's disease. And I'm excited to share that with you. Please post your questions and comments in the comment boxes. I will do my best to answer them. Last night we went really long. We went an hour and a half. Hopefully tonight we go about 20 minutes. That would be ideal. And so I'd love to answer your questions about foods and Alzheimer's, or anything regarding brain health and Alzheimer's disease. So today I did a post on healthy fish. And these are some of the best brain foods available today based upon the research that we have. Your brain craves healthy fats. It craves them. In fact, the deficit in them is associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. So you want to get your brain healthy fats. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you can get those through nuts and seeds, primarily through flaxseed or flaxseed oil, chia seeds. And then you can also, olive oil is also very good, rich in oleic acid. If you do eat fish, if you do eat meat, one of the best things you can eat is smash fish. That stands for salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. We got a question here from O. Caper. What about coconut oil? Coconut oil is great. Coconut oil is not rich in omega-3s, but that's okay. Coconut oil is delicious and it's great. What coconut oil has, it's a mono unsaturated fat, and coconut oil is delicious. And I remember in high school we were told that coconut oil is bad for you because it's a saturated fat. That's actually not a problem with coconut oil. And now we know that saturated fats are really not associated with an increase in blood triglycerides. That's fat in your blood. What's actually associated with blood triglycerides is carbs. So if you eat carbohydrates, that increases fat in your bloodstream. Very interesting. Interestingly, cholesterol you eat is not associated with an increase in serum cholesterol. That's cholesterol in your blood. So coconut oil does not raise saturated fat levels in your blood. Coconut oil, even better than coconut oil, is MCT oil. That stands for medium chain triglyceride oil. That's like coconut oil on steroids. If I could recommend one fat outside of fatty fish, it would be MCT oil. Dr. Dale Bredesen, who is a medical doctor from UCLA, he basically cracked the code on Alzheimer's disease. He says he recommends 3 tablespoons a day of MCT oil. What happens is your liver takes MCT oil, turns that into ketone bodies, and your brain uses that for energy. As we age, our brain becomes less effective at using glucose for energy. And so we need to bridge that energy gap. Ketones is a great way to do that. And MCT oil is the fastest, easiest way to get ketones to your body. Excuse me. If you are a woman, it is, if you have female physiology, a lot of women struggle with MCT oil. It's upsetting for their stomach, or it can cause what Dave Asprey calls disaster pants. So you can use MCT oil powder instead. Men do better with the oil. Men can also do powder. I've definitely gotten disaster pants from eating too much MCT oil at once. Start slowly. Start with a teaspoon, and then move up to a tablespoon, and then ideally 2 or 3 tablespoons a day. That will help give your brain ketones for energy, and that can really help bridge the energy deficit that we experience as we age. I'm going to go through some comments here. I saw a comment about prolonged fasting. So prolonged fasting, 3 days or more, is great for promoting something called autophagy or autophagy. This is self-eating, self-phagy eating. You're basically eating your old mitochondria and your old cells, and this creates room for new cells and new mitochondria. It's a really, really good thing to do. And so fasting for 3 days or more will do that. And so that's really good. Also, it's good to give your gut a break. It's not good to be eating 24/7. Our gut and gut bacteria need some rest. And so it's a good idea to not eat all the time. And so taking a day or 2 off from eating can be good. Dave Asprey recommends eating prebiotics, which is soluble fiber that doesn't have calories, that doesn't take you out of a fasted state, but that does feed your healthy gut bacteria. You can also take activated charcoal while fasting, and that can help with symptoms as well. YTM wrote best. I'm assuming that's about MCT oil. Thank you. Okay, I need to study for a licensing test. Help with memory. Well, what challenges are you facing? I recommend exercise is the first thing to improve memory, improve physical health, and improve sleep. Second, I recommend improving your sleep. Third, remove unhealthy foods like refined sugar, refined carbs. I find when I fast during the day, so I stop eating around 8 p.m. and I don't eat foods until around noon or 1, I find my time in the morning is really productive. And so I recommend, if you're studying, I recommend not eating in the morning if you can. And that helps me improve my memory. Also, you might want to look at nootropics. Nootropics are supplements that improve mental functioning. Some of my favorite nootropics, if you like supplements to improve your brain function, write these down. One of my favorite ones is called aniracetam, spelled ANIRACETAM. It increases acetylcholine in the brain, also protects the brain from glutamate excitotoxicity. That's a fancy word for saying overexcitation. And we find this is really helpful in people with Alzheimer's disease. It protects their brain. Aniracetam improves memory in healthy adults and also reverses memory loss in early stage Alzheimer's disease in double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. It's difficult to find in the United States. It is legal to buy. It is legal to use. It's legal to sell, but you can't make claims about it. Otherwise, the FDA gets all upset. So aniracetam, search with your favorite search engine. You will find it in the United States. If you're outside the United States, I don't know what the laws are in your country, but that's one of my favorite supplements for improving memory. If you have ADHD and you take Adderall or Ritalin, I recommend taking aniracetam with that. It helps balance it out. And then if you're overexcited, if you're studying, you have study anxiety or stress, I recommend L-theanine. That's an amino acid found in green tea and black tea, as well as matcha, that promotes a calmness to it. Another great thing to take is coffee or caffeine. I recommend getting your caffeine in foods or drinks like coffee or tea. Don't just take a caffeine supplement. Coffee and tea have polyphenols, which are great for your gut. Coffee does 3 things. Number 1, coffee, it removes adenosine. Adenosine builds up during the day and creates fatigue. And so by clearing adenosine, it increases wakefulness. Don't take coffee first 2 hours during the day. This is from Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist from Stanford. Let your cortisol wake you up the first 2 hours. If you experience a caffeine crash around 4 p.m., that's probably because you're drinking coffee too early. Wait until after 2 hours after you've been awake and then drink your coffee or your tea or your matcha. So coffee or caffeine clears adenosine, and that promotes wakefulness. Number 2, coffee increases dopamine sensitivity. Basically, I believe it creates more dopamine receptors or more sensitivity of those receptors. And number 3, coffee increases adrenaline, or caffeine increases adrenaline. So those might help with your studying. And then I highly, highly, highly recommend getting really good sleep. That means turning off TV, phone, computer 2 hours before bed, reading or listening to music, journaling, and then getting really good sleep. So that's what I recommend, O'Keeper. Tatiana Marie Love, good name. Tatiana Marie Love 8, your question: how do 0-calorie sweeteners affect your brain? Really good question. And this question, it upsets me when people I really like and respect get this question wrong. This is a very complicated question because there are many 0-calorie sweeteners. So it really depends upon which 0-calorie sweetener you're talking about. I'm going to talk about some of the most important ones. First is aspartame, also known as NutraSweet. You want to avoid this at all costs for the rest of your life. And I'm serious about that. I mean, don't eat anything that contains aspartame if you can help it. Here's why. Aspartame increases the risk of diabetes. Those who drink diet soda have a greater likelihood of getting diabetes than those who drink regular soda. And those who drink regular soda, that really increases your risk. So aspartame is that bad. Now, why does it increase the risk of diabetes? Well, aspartame, your tongue senses sugar, senses sweetness, but then you don't get calories. So what happens is that your tongue tastes sweetness and it tells your brain or tells your body, get ready for sugar. And so your body releases insulin and that tells your cells, get ready to uptake sugar. But then no sugar comes with the diet soda. So now your cells are starving because they've been told with the insulin, get ready to take in sugar, but there's no sugar. And then when that person's exposed to food, they overeat. They eat even more. So basically the diet soda triggers increased appetite because it stimulates the cells to be hungry. with the insulin, and then they eat a lot. So people actually gain more weight drinking diet soda than regular soda. That's how bad aspartame is. Aspartame is also the most complained about, most highly side effects. I don't know how to say that as a verb. Has more side effects than any other approved food additive. It's linked with cancer. It's linked with headaches, migraines, trouble sleeping, all kinds of things. It's terrible for your gut bacteria. And there's a whole shady history. I'll go into it at some point if you want. If enough people want me to go into the history of aspartame, I'll talk about that for 5 minutes. It's really shady and bad. Donald Rumsfeld, who was defense secretary, was involved in getting aspartame approved. He was defense secretary under George W. Bush in the War on Terror. So aspartame's terrible. Saccharin is also not great. And then what's the other one? Equal's not that great for you either. All of them are bad for your gut bacteria. Dr. Stephen Gundry talks about how bad Equal is for your gut bacteria. I think it's one packet of Equal kills like half your gut bacteria. It's some really large number like that. Really scary. And you don't want to kill your gut bacteria. You love your gut bacteria, and they love you. They help you. You get vitamin K because of your gut bacteria. So you really want to keep them in good health. Your dopamine and serotonin, a lot of that comes from your gut bacteria. So you don't want to eat those artificial sweeteners. So the reason not to eat most artificial sweeteners or most zero-calorie sweeteners is, number one, they're bad for your gut bacteria. Number two, aspartame increases the risk of diabetes and cancer and all kinds of bad things. Now, there are some healthy non-calorie sweeteners or low-calorie sweeteners. My favorites, zero-calorie sweeteners, are stevia and monk fruit sugar. Stevia actually reduces the risk of cancer, which is great. Stevia kind of has a metallic taste to it, so I like to add that to smoothies, just a little bit. And I like the liquid. It's easy to add too much, and you can ruin stuff. But stevia as a liquid, great. There's no negative research on stevia that I'm aware of. If there is, please send it to me. I want to know. I use stevia almost every day in my smoothies, sometimes in my coffee. So I really like liquid stevia. The other one is monk fruit sugar. Monk fruit sugar tastes like regular sugar. It doesn't have the metallic taste of stevia. What I usually do is I usually add, let's say, 10 drops monk fruit sugar, 5 drops stevia. So I use 2-to-1 monk fruit sugar to stevia. Both of those, I believe they're very safe and healthy based upon the research. If you know of other research, please send it to me. I want to be up to date. Those two are very safe. And my absolute favorite sweetener is allulose, spelled Allulose. Allulose. What is allulose? It is a rare sugar found in mulberries, figs, and maple syrup. It's a similar chemical structure as sugar, and it does not spike your insulin, does not spike your glucose, and has 90% fewer calories than regular sugar. And so I used to make chocolate. I still do make chocolate from time to time, and that was my primary sweetener. It's so good. It's a keto-friendly sweetener. It's great. Other healthy sweeteners are xylitol. If you eat too much xylitol, though, it's can upset your stomach. I've definitely had diarrhea from too much xylitol. Hi, James. So don't eat too much xylitol. That can upset your stomach. Xylitol is really good for your teeth. Bacteria in your mouth will eat it, and then they'll fall off your teeth. So that's kind of cool. Something else is erythritol. Erythritol is a sugar alcohol. That's 0 calorie. That's supposedly very safe. Some people get upset stomach from it. I don't. It's a little difficult to cook with, but that's pretty healthy. So that's my rant on healthy sugars. So estrogen and Alzheimer's disease link. So women who have a hysterectomy and don't have hormone replacement therapy, if it's before the age 50, have an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. So estrogen and hormones very much associated with Alzheimer's disease. Can you mix aniracetam and huperzine A? No. Do not do that. Huperzine A blocks the reuptake of acetylcholine. I took huperzine A today. I'm writing a paper on huperzine A. I'm doing a research study with huperzine A. I like huperzine A a lot. Very safe. The challenge is huperzine A blocks the reuptake of acetylcholine. If you take aniracetam, which increases acetylcholine, that can give you too much acetylcholine. So I don't recommend that. What foods with secret artificial sweeteners? I don't know what secret artificial sweeteners. I just mentioned some that are pretty well known. Aspartame is poison. I agree, Karen. Absolutely. How often do you take L-tyrosine? Me personally, I don't know if that's going to be helpful to you, but I'll tell you, I take it 2-3 times a week, max. And that's just because that's what I do. I've taken it 7 days a week. If I take Adderall, I like to take L-tyrosine. I think that makes the Adderall more effective and makes the come down less. Bit of business. Any thoughts on stevia leaf extract? Yeah, love it. Love stevia. Music festival life. It's E. coli turds. I'm assuming you're referring to aspartame? Possibly. Why not? Why do I forget things so easily? I am just 32. I don't know. You might have had traumatic brain injury. That is, if you've had a car accident, you played sports, soccer, there's a lot of concussions in soccer, football. It could be all kinds of reasons why you've had memory loss. You might not be getting adequate sunshine. You might be lacking vitamin D, too much television, poor sleep, not enough exercise, all kinds of reasons why. Brandon Ramos, vitamin for men. Can you be more specific about what you want in a vitamin? I will answer you if I can. Ruby, what is vitamin B complex? Vitamin B complex, there's a variety of B things that scientists have labeled B vitamins. Niacin's one of them. There's B6, B12. Vitamin B6 and B12 are necessary to make certain neurotransmitters. So I recommend a B complex rather than just taking individual B vitamins. Where can you buy it? You can buy it online at your favorite store. I like Thorne or Garden of Life. Those are two good companies. I'm not sponsored by either of them. I'll tell you when I am. Hopefully I will be, and I'll have a link for you. By the way, underneath my profile is a link for a free masterclass. And if you or someone you love is suffering from memory loss or potentially early stage Alzheimer's disease, I would love to be of help. And there's information after my masterclass about that. So I'd love to be of help. That is the service I provide the world. And I love doing these free videos to share important information. Sweet and low, bad too. Yes, Flossie. Sweet and low is bad. It's not good for your gut bacteria. Lost in December. Anything to do with leaky gut? Anything to do for leaky gut or with leaky gut? So these artificial sweeteners may promote leaky gut. They're just bad for your gut bacteria. Leaky gut is more associated with gluten. Gluten kind of has the molecules in the gut, the cells in the gut separate a little bit. That's leaky gut. And then food particles cross the gut barrier and get into the blood. And this upsets your immune system because these large molecules that are undigested from the gut get into the blood. The immune system says, hey, what the hell is this? And it gets upset, and this can cause autoimmune disease. So leaky gut is associated with autoimmune disease, and both of those are associated with eating gluten. Gluten is a lectin. Lectin is a plant substance that it's basically a plant defense. It's meant to make us not eat it. So it's very interesting. Livestock, cattle, are fed soy. They're also fed Tums. Tums is an antacid. Why do we feed cattle antacid? Because their stomach gets upset eating soy. Why? Because they're not supposed to eat soy. And so cows know not to eat soy, but they continue to eat it because we give them Tums. And Dr. Stephen Gundry talks about this. This is also in the book The Body by Bill Bryson, great book about the human body. So human beings, we're silly. We eat foods that upset our stomach. We eat foods filled with plant lectins that don't feel good, and we're just used to that. And so we don't notice when they don't make us feel good. So lots of people eat lots of foods that don't make them feel good. Have you ever seen anyone eat sugar and then get upset? And then they continue eating sugar. So we're silly as human beings. We eat foods that aren't good for us, that don't feel good. But the plants are trying to communicate to us, don't eat me. I have things in me that aren't good for you, and we ignore that. And those plant defenses are called lectins. Dr. Stephen Gundry talks about them in the plant paradox, and they cause inflammation in our bodies. Gluten causes inflammation as well as causes leaky gut and other things. So that's my spiel on that. Splenda, that's poison too. Yes, I don't recommend Splenda. Absolutely. Thank you, Karen. Mitzi Joe Davis, can dementia be reversed? Really great question. That is perhaps the question. It depends on what kind of dementia and how far along and what caused it. Short answer, yes, if it's early stage, it can at least be slowed down or stopped, especially if it's Alzheimer's disease. Lewy body dementia is harder to slow down and stop. We don't understand it very well. Another type of dementia is called vascular dementia, or another fancy word for that is stroke, which basically means the brain's been deprived of blood and oxygen. And that's actually can be reversed. The damage of that can be reversed. Maybe not completely, but it can be helped. And the way to help that is cinnamon, quercetin, and something called oxiracetam, Oxiracetam. I'll spell that again for you. If you know someone with either traumatic brain injury or stroke, I highly recommend getting some oxiracetam. Check with your medical doctor first. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. And when someone close to me either has a stroke or has traumatic brain injury, I get them oxiracetam. It is spelled Oxiracetam. I do not have an association with an oxiracetam company. I wish I did. I would gladly tell you, but get that for yourself and for others. I also bring that to Burning Man. It's great for sleep deprivation. If you don't sleep well, it helps you recover. But that's shown in scientific studies to help recovery after stroke and traumatic brain injury. Music Festival of Life. Hey, good to see you. Stevia is amazing. I totally agree. It's great. I like how there's stevia soft drinks now. That's great. DC Diva Ghost. Any connections with celiac and Alzheimer's? So celiac disease is basically gluten sensitivity. And so there is an association between eating gluten and Alzheimer's disease. I don't know how strong that association is, but just simply that gluten increases inflammation. And Alzheimer's disease is very associated with inflammation. That link is probably pretty strong. So your inflammation levels at age 40 predict your risk of Alzheimer's disease at age 70. That's been shown in these longitudinal studies where they follow people for decades. So your inflammation levels today predict your risk of Alzheimer's disease in the future. And so celiac disease, these people respond much more strongly to gluten than other people. And so it's very likely, if these people continue to eat gluten, I think there's a very strong connection between celiac disease and Alzheimer's disease. Hopefully, those with celiac disease learn they have celiac disease and then stop eating gluten and really take care of themselves. In that case, there might not be an association because these people make better decisions. Really good question. And we'll find out more as, celiac disease is relatively new. We haven't known about that for very long, so we'll get more data in the coming years. Flossie71, tamarind sugar, good too. I don't know. I haven't had tamarind sugar. I don't know the research on that. I think tamarind generally is a safe food, and so that sugar might be okay. Interesting side note, sugar from sugar cane, that's like organic sugar cane, is not that bad for you. It's not good for you, but it actually has magnesium in it. The challenge with sugar in the United States is that it's primarily made from genetically modified beet sugar and is stripped of nutrients. Excuse me, if you were just to eat sugar cane, like eat the actual sugar cane, it's filled with fiber and it's got magnesium in it. So actually eating sugar cane, not refined sugar, but sugar cane, is not bad for you. And so the problem is that we've allowed food companies to super refine our food to the point where it's a drug. Refined sugar is a drug. We respond to it as a drug. It's addictive. It affects how we think. It affects how we feel. It has negative side effects. Sugar in its more natural form, like in fruits and foods, is not that bad for you, including organic sugar cane. Another interesting side note, if you're interested in sugar, Brazil is almost energy independent, and they use ethanol made from sugar cane. They're smart. Sugar cane makes good ethanol. We're stupid in the United States with our energy policy. We use corn for ethanol. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. We would do much better growing sugar cane. If we can grow sugar cane in this country, I don't know if the climate will allow it. That produces much more ethanol. So growing corn to make ethanol is really stupid. It does not make, it's not a good source of energy. It's a waste of time. It's really bad policy. It's a waste of your tax dollars. We would do much better following Brazil's policy of using sugarcane. Okay, so in general, it's not good for government to support specific food crops because it distorts the market, and then we get things like growing corn for energy. Holly, what's for dinner? Today I ate sardines and sweet potatoes for dinner. My stepmom has stage 4 Alzheimer's. LaDonna, I'm very sorry to hear that. My recommendation is to get the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen, and see if that could be helpful to you. I also recommend not having your stepmom watch TV. Instead, have her watch movies from her childhood and listen to music from her childhood. Television is very stressful, especially the news. Have her watch movies. Have her watch old black and white movies. That'll remind her of her past, and that'll kind of have her feel younger. And music is really good for the brain. So play music, either classical music like Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, or play music from her childhood that she likes. What food sources for vitamin B complex? So vitamin B is mostly from meat and protein sources. You can also get B complex as a supplement. Pragmatism, please. Do you have any experience with pramiracetam? I think I took it once. I may have bought some. I like aniracetam the best. That's just the most functional and useful for me. I've also taken oxiracetam. I like that for sleep recovery or for giving people who have traumatic brain injury. And then other acetams, I like choline every once in a while. That's really powerful, as is phenylpiracetam. That's a little bit intense. I only take that sometimes. But I like racetams a lot. I recommend experimenting with them if your doctor says it's okay, and give it a shot. Slowcooker.gov. Are mushrooms good for the brain? Yes. New research out of Asia shows that I think it's 2 cups of mushrooms per week can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's up to 70%. That's what I heard Dr. Stephen Gundry share on a podcast. I think I got those numbers right. 2 cups of mushrooms, any mushrooms, button, shiitake, maitake, lobster. 2 cups of mushrooms per week reduces the risk of Alzheimer's significantly, up to 70%. Lion's mane is also great. I recommend taking lion's mane as a supplement and as a food. Pardon me. Lion's mane is a supplement every day. Most days you can cycle on and off of it. I take it in the evening. I get really great dreams on it. And lion's mane promotes the growth of new brain cells and new neural connections. It increases something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, and that promotes this new brain cells and new neural connections. This is really, really important for Alzheimer's disease. The old way of thinking was that Alzheimer's is caused by the plaque in the brain. Now, the plaque contributes to it. That's not the cause. We find the greatest association with memory loss with loss of synapses. So the loss of synapses and brain cells is more associated with memory loss than the accumulation of plaque in the brain. I hope I said that so you understand. So we want to grow more neural connections, more synapses. That's what's really important, more so than removing the plaque. And lion's mane helps do that. So lion's mane is great. I strongly recommend it. My favorite lion's mane that I get is Life Cycle. You can find that on Amazon or on Life Cycle's website, LIFE, and then CYKEL. I also have a lion's mane supplement. I don't have that available for sale yet. I will at some point, and I will have a link for you when that is available. Squeaky D, what do you think of algae? I think algae oil is great for vegetarians and vegans who don't want to have fish oil. And I think algae is probably pretty good for most of us. BFFJFND12, question, canned fish has preservatives. It's best to eat fish. Fresh fish is great. One of my favorite experiences eating fish was wild-caught salmon. It was so good, I had to sit down. I was just flooded with all these happy neurochemicals telling me I was eating super nutrient-rich food. So fresh fish is best. And if you want to be independent, self-reliant, I recommend getting a ton of canned sardines or your favorite canned fish, having a year's worth supply just in case food supplies get strange. I bought a year's worth of sardines before the coronavirus lockdown. I had food for a year. It was great. I was not worried about food. It was really great. Don't think that it can't happen again. I live in Boulder. People here had the Boulder flood. They weren't able to leave their homes for days. So be prepared for these things. One great thing that I've learned in hanging out with some Mormons is that Mormons are about food preparation and being prepared. So they have food stored. So please take responsibility for yourself and your family. Store some non-perishable food in your home. I highly recommend sardines be part of that. Can you take prodrone and neuro with this aniracetam. I don't know what that is. If you can tell me what prodrome does, I can tell you. If it blocks the reuptake of acetylcholine, I don't recommend combining that with aniracetam. I wouldn't combine a whole lot of things with aniracetam. You can take it with L-tyrosine, which works on dopamine. You can take it with Adderall. If you're prescribed Adderall, Adderall works on dopamine and norepinephrine. You can also take it with acetylcholine precursors like alpha-GPC. Those are the best things to take with aniracetam. You can also take it with L-theanine if you get too excited. L-theanine is a calming neurotransmitter. From Cali Delta Life, question. OMG, I had a hysterectomy when I was 24. I'm really sorry. That sounds really tough. I do tend to forget things, suffer from depression, anxiety. Yeah, your hormones. So if I were you, I would highly recommend seeing a functional or integrative medicine doctor and working on your hormones. Optimize your hormones. If you had a hysterectomy at age 24, seeking hormone replacement therapy could be a game changer for you. Karen, I have severely low estrogen. Any ideas what can help? Yes, same thing. Go see a functional medicine doctor, integrative medicine doctor, or an endocrinologist who's forward thinking. Get your hormones optimized. Can make a huge difference for your brain health, your energy, all kinds of things, your quality of life. L. Suter, I've seen other videos you talked about ADHD and L-tyrosine. How often do you take it? How often do I take L-tyrosine? I take it probably no more than 3 times a week. I take more acetylcholine supplements. If I take Adderall, I take L-tyrosine with that. And I also like to take aniracetam with my Adderall. But really, take L-tyrosine and then see what works for you. Your body chemistry is certainly different from mine. Strawberry shortcake. Is there any link between bipolar and Alzheimer's disease? I don't know. I think there's likely a link between bipolar and a lot of diseases because bipolar is such a serious deal. And then I talked a friend of mine, his brother's bipolar. He's on like 10 different medications, and he's has trouble keeping a job. He has trouble doing anything but watch television. I said to my friend, hey, if I were on 10 different medications, I might have trouble standing up and exercising and getting off the couch. And so just by the very fact that people with bipolar take a lot of drugs sometimes, that can greatly increase the risk of dementia in the future. But I don't know yet. I also don't know the lifespan of people with bipolar. I don't know if they're likely to live to be 80 and beyond, which is when we often see Alzheimer's disease. Really good question. I don't know what the data is for this one. Okay, looking through some more questions here. Vitamins that help with stress. So vitamin deficiencies certainly increase stress. I would start with a B complex vitamin. Find one that says take 1 a day and consult with your medical doctor, but you might try 2 a day. Really increase your B vitamin and drink lots of water. I would start with there. Also D, vitamin D definitely associated with depression. Seasonal affect disorder, people don't get enough sunshine. That directly affects vitamin D. And Stephen Gundry says 5,000 IU to 10,000 IU a day is safe, and that's from research from the University of California, San Diego. So perhaps consider some what are considered high doses of vitamin D. Those doses are safe. 5,000 IU a day, give that a shot. I'm not a medical doctor, not giving you medical advice, but that could really help with depression and anxiety. Okay, other questions. Do you think having a stressful job for decades can contribute to Alzheimer's? Absolutely, Sleepy Cat. So stress contributes to most diseases, I think almost any disease we can think of. So yes, that definitely can increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Sanjay's mom, my daughter has GBS and very bad memory loss. Will this help her? Can you tell me what GBS is? I'm not familiar with that acronym. Stacy, question, can I ask where your passion for Alzheimer's prevention comes from? Absolutely. So I had 2 grandfathers who had dementia. One had Alzheimer's disease, one had dementia. We later found out was caused by dry cleaning fluids, by chemicals. He was a dry cleaner. And so I watched 2 grandfathers slowly die. It was really painful for my parents and my family. And 3 years ago, I went home to help my mother after her back surgery, help her around the house. And I noticed that her and my father were not as mentally sharp as they used to be. And I looked at their food and I saw they ate a lot of sugar. So I became very concerned about them. And so I switched my focus from attention deficit disorder to helping prevent Alzheimer's disease. I got really into the research. I studied for months, learning about what was going on. There's a lot of crossover between ADHD and Alzheimer's disease just with the neurotransmitters. But that's when I switched my focus to specializing in helping people prevent Alzheimer's disease. And so it came from my parents and my family and my own personal experience. And it's really interesting. This is a really fast changing area, and so it's not only really rewarding to work with people and help them prevent Alzheimer's disease, it's also really fascinating because there's new research coming out all the time. So thank you for asking. Vegan Mimi, thoughts on nutritional yeast? Nutritional yeast is great. It's a good source of B vitamins. I don't know if it has B12 or not. B12 is very hard to get from plants. I don't think nutritional yeast is considered a plant. But if you're vegan, I definitely recommend taking supplements. It just makes your life easier. Nutritional yeast is healthy for most people. I've heard things that nutritional yeast is like MSG. I don't know if that's true. I haven't read the research. I've heard that from I've heard that from a naturopathic doctor. But I think nutritional yeast in general is good. Do your own research. Check with your medical doctor, and I think supplements are a really good idea for vegans. Just in general, it just makes it easier to make sure you get all your vitamins and minerals. And if you don't want to take omega-3 fish oil, look at algae oil. That can be really healthy for your brain. Devalena, mom has dementia. What causes her to feel dizzy all the time? Anything you can do to help? I don't know what causes your mother to feel dizzy. I'm really sorry your mother has dementia. If you give me more information, I might be of more help. What kind of dementia? Does she have Alzheimer's disease? Does she have vascular dementia? Does she have Lewy dementia? How far has it progressed? I'm really sorry to hear that. I'd recommend getting the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen, and following some of that and see if that is helpful to her. Also, try some MCT oil or MCT oil powder. That can give her brain some more energy and help her. Is schizophrenia a type of dementia? Great question, Luminous. No, it is not. Schizophrenia is overactivity of dopamine. People who take, you can make yourself schizophrenic if you take a bunch of Adderall or a bunch of cocaine. If it doesn't give you a heart attack, you'll have schizophrenic-like symptoms. I don't recommend doing that. I think it's a really bad idea. But schizophrenia is from too much dopamine activity. Tambam72, what about nature sugar? Sugar in nature is usually fine. You don't want to eat too much fruit. That can cause weight gain. And you want to eat organic fruit. I'm assuming you're referring just to sugar in foods, and that's generally okay. Arabella, question, what about cod liver? I've had mixed advice. Cod liver oil, I think, is helpful. I take a different type of fish oil. Cod liver oil, I believe, is a fish oil, and I think it has similar benefits. So see how you feel. There's something called muscle testing, which is kind of a woo-woo thing. I think it's actually, there's a lot of science behind it in that your body has an intelligence to it. And so if you hold up, let's say it's 10 p.m., you hold up a cup of coffee, you ask your body, do you want this? Your body will tell you, likely no, unless you want to stay up all night. And so you can do that with different foods. You can hold cod liver oil in front of you and say, body, do you want this? And it'll tell you yes or no. Pragmatism, please. How many racetams do I use? Well, in my drawer of racetams, or my drawer of nootropics, I have aniracetam, oxiracetam, choluracetam, and phenylpiracetam. So I have those 4. I don't use them all on a regular basis. I use aniracetam mostly. I experimented with a lot of them. That was really fun. If you're really into this, you'll get a bunch of racetams and get a scale and play around with them and see what works best for you. I wish they all came in supplements. I was measuring them on a scale, which is kind of a pain in the butt every morning to wake up and measure out the nootropics you're going to take every morning. But those are the 4 that I use, and this might not be right for you, and they may not be safe for you. They're generally safe for most healthy adults, but check with your medical doctor. TT44TT, oxiracetam. You're close. It's spelled OXIRACETAM. M as in Mary, oxiracetam. Kelsey 0707, question, have you heard of the book, The XX Brain? Yes, love that book. Great information. Totally. A girlfriend actually gave that to me. I'm glad she did. Luminous 8715. My brother has CTE, super helpful. I'm so glad. Human Being 365. Does sleep apnea cause Alzheimer's? Sleep apnea definitely contributes to Alzheimer's and brain fog and all kinds of things. Ways to help with sleep apnea are, number one, lose weight. That's one of the best things you can do. Number two is something you can do is put a piece of Scotch tape over your mouth, and that'll help you nose breathe at night, and that can help with sleep apnea. Polly Pocket Sunshine, are Tums good for you? No. Antacids generally are not good for you. Neither are proton inhibitors. I think there's PPIs. Is it proton pump inhibitors? I read those in Dr. Gundry's book. I don't remember what those are called off the top of my head. Basically, things that mess with your gut and gut bacteria are not healthy for you. I don't recommend them unless under a doctor's supervision, and that doctor knows what they're doing, and that doctor is familiar with gut bacteria. A lot of doctors, unfortunately, when we talk about gut bacteria, they look at you funny, or look at you like you're a strange hippie, but that's now where the science is. And so, a lot of doctors prescribe antibacterial agents, and those are harmful to gut bacteria. So there's a trade-off of those. So find a doctor you like and trust, and see if Tums, unless those are recommended for you, I wouldn't take them. Chris Parkingram, connection with mold and dementia. Yeah, mold and heavy metals are definitely associated with dementia. Even toxins in the air. So Dale Bredesen mentions how those who were first responders for 9/11, those people have increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and dementia because of all the toxins they inhaled when helping get people out of the towers. So yes, mold and heavy metals and airborne pathogens, yes. So it's a great idea. It's a great idea to get a HEPA filter. HEPA filter is an air filter. Get that for your home, your office, your bedroom. It's a great thing to do. You're a virtual parent. Great, I'm done for. No. This is helpful. I want this to be empowering. If you just do one thing, actually everyone right now, write one thing that you learned today that you're going to implement. Seriously, right now, write that in the comments. I want to know that this is helpful to you and know that you're going to take action. So let's start with you, your virtual parent. Write one thing that you learned that you're going to take action on. This could be a food. This could be prioritizing sleep. This could be reducing your stress, not taking antibiotics, not eating aspartame. Write down what you are going to do based upon what you saw here tonight. This is meant to be empowering so you can live a happier, healthier life. Do I know anything about pramiracetam? I know it's a racetam and that it increases acetylcholine action. That's the best I got for you. I don't take it myself personally, and I don't think it's and so I don't know much about it. You're a virtual parent. Mom is 90. I'm her caregiver. She has Alzheimer's. I'm sorry to hear your mother has Alzheimer's. I have resources for you. If you go below my name, there's a masterclass on how to prevent Alzheimer's and how to slow it down. So that's free. So go ahead and register for that and watch that if you like. And then I have a memory test for your mother if you want to assess where she is. Then if I can be helpful, let me know. And I have lots of free information on my channel. I hope it's helpful to you. CC Hermoso. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble reading your name. Hi, I'm new here. Great, welcome. I hope this is helpful to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Mom Pierce 6, does working in aluminum manufacturing cause Alzheimer's? I don't know. People have been talking about aluminum and Alzheimer's. I haven't seen the data. They've looked at Alzheimer's disease brains. They don't have more aluminum than other people. So I don't think that's, working in aluminum manufacturing may have other risks. That might be a really high exposure to aluminum, but generally speaking, aluminum is not associated with Alzheimer's disease. Develina, Mom has dementia. What causes her to feel dizzy all the time? I already answered that one. Sorry, we just skipped. Okay, so we're seeing what people said. So I'm going to run through these really quickly. I'm going to go back for questions. Lion's mane, taking lion's mane, great. Fish oil, what is good fish oil? Is it from Costco? The fish oil I take is, I forget the name. I got it on Amazon. It tastes like vanilla cake. Fish oil helps, great. I want to read the book you recommend. What is it called? The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen. Great. Mom Pierce said, very helpful, eat more fish. Great. Out of order said, I love the priority of sleep. Great. Scarparka, if I'm saying that correctly. I just got here, but saw you mentioned fish oil and B vitamins. Great, I'll do that. Yes, do it. Research from Dr. David Smith at Oxford says that combining fish oil and a B vitamin decreases the risk of Alzheimer's by 30%. That's great. Do that with lion's mane. You are well on your way. Stay fit well. Eat 2 cups of mushrooms. Yes, you're doing it. This is really great. I'm feeling really excited reading all the things you all are going to do. Circle 65 Insurance. It's always so helpful. So many things we have control over. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I'd love to hear what specifically you're going to do, whether it's sleep or mushrooms. Scarparka, my grandmother died of dementia and lived with us for a long time, and it was traumatizing. I'm really sorry. I bet that was. Seeing someone you love slowly die is really hard. Scarpaka, I'm sorry, I'm not saying your name correctly. Scarpaka, I highly recommend the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen. That can help protect you and your family from Alzheimer's disease if you follow the program. Marniefs, I'm going to buy my dad MCT for his dementia, and I'll quit eating Tums like candy. Yes! Way to go. I recommend MCT oil that's organic, made from coconut oil. Start slowly. If you take too much at once, you can get disaster pants. I've definitely got that myself. You can also do MCT oil powder. Scarpaka, I'm scared my parents will get it. Yes, I understand. I'm scared too. Start today. B vitamin, fish oil. Of course, check with your medical doctor. B vitamin, fish oil, lion's mane, exercise, sleep. Those are a great start. No gluten, no sugar. Other people are sharing, does alcoholism cause Alzheimer's? No, it definitely increases the risk though. Dr. Andrew Huberman did a great podcast on alcohol and brain health. Even one drink a day is damaging to the brain. It shuts down the frontal cortex, which is kind of our metacognition. It gives us our ability to kind of censor ourselves. Notice after one drink, your ability to censor yourself decreases. Well, that's your frontal cortex. And so when you take a drink, that shuts that down. And so by drinking, you're practicing shutting that down. So that's really not helpful. So you don't want to do that. Alcohol is also bad for your gut bacteria. It's bad for your liver. It's bad for your kidneys. And it's bad for sleep. And so it's bad for memory, all kinds of things, all kinds of reasons alcohol is not good. Drinking alcohol to the point where you black out twice a year is associated with a significant increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. So that amount, yes. And just alcohol in general is bad for memory. And so that's likely increasing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Mom First 68. Question. My mom had dementia. It was a very scary and sad time. I bet. I'm 53 and it worries me that I may get it. Mom First 68. You are in the right place. Seriously, that is basically all I talk about. It's not all I talk about, but it's why we're here. We are here to help you have the tools so you can protect your brain and reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease. I have lots of videos on this. I hope today has been helpful to you. Let me know in the chat what you've learned that's going to be helpful to you. Out of order, what about deodorant with aluminum? I try not to use antiperspirants with aluminum. I don't think that's helpful. And aluminum is not my biggest concern. There's so many other things that are much more damaging to your brain, like gluten, like sugar, like alcohol. Develina, I've ordered 2 books, MCT and Lion's Mane for Mom. Yes, you go. Great job. You are kicking butt. Are multi-probiotic enzymes safe to take? Hi, Jordiana. Good question. Very likely, yes. Probiotics are good. And even better are eating probiotic foods and foods with a lot of fiber. Interestingly, most of our gut bacteria are in our large intestine or your colon. They're way in the back, and they're eating the fiber in our food. And so that's why, probiotic foods are great because they contain probiotics, but they also contain fiber. So think kimchi, think sauerkraut. These things, these fermented foods also have fiber in them that are really good. Andy Williams 7, you're going to eat mushrooms. Good for you. Go, do it. Laughing is my favorite too. I'm going to lose weight and get Bredesen's book. Yes! Just so you know, it's spelled Bredesen. If you look for it, Bredesen. So it's all E's in his name. Great job. Please come back to live events and let me know how that's going for you. MTB4 Life 1961. I really appreciate what you are doing. I pray that God will continue to bless you and give you wisdom. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. God bless you and your family. And I really appreciate the prayers and support. Giraffe 206. Someone is posing as you to promote a random Instagram person. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what to do about that except to block those people. It's really weird how people take my image and then try to do stuff with it. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I try to remove them. Just ignore that. Bliss Folk Halid, can you talk about sleep? Yes, what would you like to know about sleep? Sleep is one of the most important things for our brain health, as well as your immune system. Sleep is when we consolidate memories. Sleep is when we clear out the brain. We literally have a brain washing. It's called the glymphatic system. Think lymphatic system with a G, glymphatic system. And basically, cerebral spinal fluid flows over our brain at night and clears out toxins. Also helps remove plaque in the brain. Some things I do to promote healthy sleep. I try to turn off the television, computer, and phone 2 hours before bed. I put on blue blockers 2 hours before bed, and I do a hot tub 1.5 hours before sleep. That helps me fall deeper into sleep. I take magnesium chelate or magnesium threonate at night, and I take melatonin. Don't give melatonin to children. It can mess with their hormones. Melatonin is very safe for adults as the research stands right now. That could change. I don't think it will. I take melatonin almost every night. It's also anti-cancer. So I take melatonin at night. I wear a sleep mask. I have a cold bedroom. I have a weighted blanket. Those are some of the things I do. And then when I wake up, the first thing I do is put on my clothes and go outside. Well, I drink water or celery juice first thing in the morning, and then I go outside, get sunshine in my eyes. That's really important for setting our biological clock, our circadian rhythm. So get sunshine as soon as you can in your eyes in the morning. Do that every morning. That'll help set your circadian rhythm. So I hope that's helpful. If you have a specific question about sleep, let me know. Happy to answer it. Hollywood actress, what mushrooms are good for beginners? Well, what do you like? What do you like the taste of? My favorite flavors of mushrooms I really like lobster mushrooms and lion's mane mushrooms. Those taste the best to me. Those are also really expensive. Other mushrooms, portobellos are pretty good. Start there. Just try a bunch of different ones. According to this research Stephen Gundry talked about, 2 cups of mushrooms reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Any mushrooms. So just try a bunch. You'll find something you like. There's so many different types of mushrooms. Arbella, are animal organs good? I'm taking beef liver. Yes, those are supposedly very rich in nutrients, and liver is also rich in choline. 90% of Americans are deficient in choline, according to Bill Bryson and his book, The Body. Other sources of choline include egg yolks. Choline is a precursor to acetylcholine, and so beef liver, really, really helpful for that. Good job. Hollywood actress just got here. Welcome. Great to have you. Adrian Barra, 43. Anything? I'm sorry, this just skipped on me. Let me see if I can find you here. I'm sorry, Adrian, I just lost your comment here. Jodiana, hi, fellow neuroscientist. I recently graduated with a degree in cell and molecular neuroscience. Good work. We need more neuroscientists, and please share your information with other people. It upsets me that there's a lot of really smart scientists doing important work that write about their research in ways that are difficult to understand, or do research and don't share it with others. So please share your research with others, and thank you for being here. Karina, MCT oil makes it tough for me to sleep. So take that in the morning or in the afternoon. I can understand how it makes you difficult to sleep because it increases energy available to your brain. Cali Delta Life, Stolen Focus is a great book. Explains why we get Alzheimer. So I'm assuming that's Alzheimer's. Stolen Focus. I haven't heard of that. Okay, Stolen Focus. I'm going to look that one up. Fish oil makes me burp. Yep, totally happens to me. It's all good. That definitely happens as well. Try taking it with food. Does Benadryl increase the risk of dementia? So I believe Benadryl decreases, it blocks the action of acetylcholine, and that's associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. So yes, I think that's generally true. Hollywood actress, double check me on that. I think Benadryl does. Feynman 137, what brand of aniracetam? I'm not able to recommend a specific brand. My favorite brand was Nootropics Depot. They don't sell it anymore, but look for aniracetam and try it and see what works for you. It is available in the United States. Jen Bowers, do most of your tips apply to all dementia or just Alzheimer's? Most of my tips apply to most healthy adults, most human beings. There's a few who it doesn't apply, and those are probably people with specific issues. So like if you're allergic to fish oil, probably not a good idea to eat it. Or if you're taking medications that would interfere with some of the things I recommend. But generally speaking, the things that I suggest And I'm not giving you medical advice, but the things I suggest are rooted in science, and they're meant to help people not only prevent Alzheimer's disease, but also live a healthier life. So even if you're not concerned about Alzheimer's disease, these things are likely helpful. So not only for Alzheimer's, but dementia in general. And I don't talk about other dementias because there's things about them that I don't know. I don't specialize in those. I specialize in Alzheimer's disease. Lewy body dementia is very different, and I don't know the detailed science around it. I'm guessing that these things are probably helpful for brains in general, and therefore for Lewy body dementia. But I'm not. I don't specifically work with Lewy body dementia. If you're interested in Lewy body dementia, you can check Max Lugavere. He talks about that. His mother actually had that, and that's what got him into the science. So generally speaking, this is probably helpful for most humans as well as other types of dementia. Alcohol is a carcinogen. Yes, thank you, Jen. Stay Fit Well. I listened to that alcohol podcast from Dr. Huberman, and I'm quitting drinking now. Great job, Stay Fit Well. That's awesome. I know, I listened to that, and I thought, boy, this is such a reason to just stop drinking. It's just not good, period. So those of you who drink alcohol and are considering stopping, there's a great podcast from Dr. Andrew Huberman. It's called The Huberman Lab. Just look up Huberman, H-U-B, there might be two B's, Huberman, and alcohol. Listen to that podcast. That'll give you some information about alcohol. Mom Pierce, Dad was diagnosed at 68, died at 78, but only because we stopped all food and IV liquids for hospice. I'm really sorry to hear that, Mom Pierce. That sounds really difficult. And so if you're concerned about you and your family, there's things you can do now to make it much less likely that you and your family members will get Alzheimer's disease. And so I'm glad you're here. I hope this is helpful to you. Cameron Sarah, I just took my dad off Western meds, started him on natural protocol. I'm his full-time caregiver. Okay, that sounds really difficult. Does your father have particular health issues? And so I hope this is helpful information for you. And I hope you're working with a good integrative medicine doctor or functional medicine doctor who can help you. And if you have a specific question, please let me know. I'd love to be helpful. Cameron Sarah, he's 7 years into his diagnosis. I'm sorry. Still 7 years into his diagnosis, I'm guessing of Alzheimer's disease. So if I can be helpful, there's a free masterclass that I recorded, and you can find that under my profile. And then if your father is able to, I'd love to give him a free memory test, just assess where he is. And then if I can be helpful, please let me know. And if any of y'all have someone either in early or middle stage Alzheimer's or pre-Alzheimer's, just early memory loss, please let me know if I can help. I have a memory test and a masterclass I'd love to share with you. And then if I can be of help, please let me know. That information is below my profile. Circle 65 Insurance. I heart mushrooms. Me too. Four Sigmatic is my fave. Have your fave lion's mane on the way. Krill with B. So I'm guessing krill oil. Yes. Lion's mane. Love it. Stay fit well. Do you believe in infrared saunas? Not only do I believe in them, believe is a strange word for a scientist. I don't like to believe things. I like to have my knowledge based on science, and that's flexible. I used to think coconut oil was bad for you. Now I think it's good for you. I used to think coconut oil was healthier for you than olive oil. Now I believe that olive oil is healthier based upon data, based upon the science. So based upon the science, I think infrared is very healthy for you. Infrared saunas, regular saunas. There's great data out of, I think it's Finland, that sauna 4 to 7 times a week reduces the risk of stroke by 40%, heart disease by 50%, and Alzheimer's by 50%. I don't remember the exact numbers, but generally speaking, we'll just say 40%. We'll underestimate. A sauna 4 to 7 times a week for 20 minutes reduces the risk of heart disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease by at least 40%. That's data out of Finland. And so, yes, I'm a firm believer in saunas based upon the science. If you can't use a sauna, use a hot tub. I have access to a hot tub, so that's what I use. It also improves sleep if it's an hour or two before sleep. Oh my, I said this is going to be 20 minutes. We've gone an hour. I'm going to see if I can run through these last questions here real quickly. How often should I be eating lion's mane mushrooms? I take lion's mane supplements basically every day. I might take a day or two off a week or a month. But eat mushrooms every day. Mom first, I take magnesium, omega-3, definitely will decrease sugar. Good job. I'm going to run through these real quickly. What do I think about marijuana? I think it's really fun. I try to do it rarely. I used to smoke a lot more when I was in college. I live in Colorado. I actually moved to Colorado because I liked their marijuana policy. I moved here when they legalized marijuana. I thought that was a really great thing. And now that's legal, I smoke a lot less. I do it from time to time. As far as Alzheimer's disease, I think there's mixed data. There's some to show that it's helpful. For example, CBD is anti-inflammatory. Marijuana might be really helpful for symptoms like anxiety and upset and so forth. We don't know what it does specifically about plaque. I've seen some research to show that marijuana or cannabis reduces plaque in the brain, and others to show that it increases memory loss. I don't know. I think this is worth doing personal experimentation. And so if it's safe and legal where you are, you can try and see if it improves memory or see if it improves symptoms. I think smoking a lot is probably not good. I think that takes us into I think that impairs memory, and that's not good for Alzheimer's disease. And there is data to show that it could be helpful. The data isn't clean because there's many effects of cannabis. And I think it's much better than alcohol. And so if I were to choose a recreational drug, marijuana, much better than alcohol. Ozzy Wally, my mom's 70 years old, has Alzheimer's. She now takes 2-inch long steps. How can I help her? I would recommend the book, Dr. Dale Bredesen's book, The End of Alzheimer's Program. Put her on the program. If she's still cognizant and she can still, if she's still with it, you can do stuff. Even if she's still not with it, you can make dietary changes that can slow down her progress, slow down the progress of Alzheimer's disease. I have free resources under my profile. There's a masterclass and then a memory test she can take. If that'll be helpful, please let me know what I can do to help. Does black seed oil help? I've looked at some data on black seed oil. It looks promising, but there's not a huge amount of data. There's not years of data like there is for a lot of the stuff that we talk about here. So I don't know. It could be. It's worth trying it out. See if it's good for you. Mom first, thank you so much for your help. You are welcome. Fifth Intercostal, physical therapy is possible. Medicare might cover. Great. Smile 00788. When are you calling people on that study? Great question. I sent out text messages yesterday and I sent out emails today. If you didn't get it, please check your spam folder if you applied to be in the study. By the way, if you want to be in a memory study, I'm conducting a memory study specifically with huperzine A, which increases acetylcholine in the brain and protects the brain from inflammation. There's a link under my profile. If you want to join and apply for that, it's a subject-funded study. So that means you, the subject, are helping fund the study. That way, Big Pharma is not going to fund the studies that I'm doing because I'm doing it on supplements that can't be patented. And so Big Pharma is not going to care, even if they're helpful to the brain, which is really upsetting. For example, aniracetam, shown to improve memory in double-blind placebo-controlled studies, can't be patented in the U.S., so no pharma company is going to do research on it. So I have to do research on it and get that to you, so you are informed about it. Same thing with huperzine A. Huperzine A is a supplement, can't be patented. There's studies from China to show that it improves memory and helps people in early-stage Alzheimer's. Pharma companies in the U.S. aren't going to do research on it. That's why I have to do it. So if you care about this, if this is important to you, please, please, please help fund this research, participate in the research, and get involved because you can help contribute to the science that can help us develop supplements and supplement combinations that can help prevent Alzheimer's disease and perhaps save people who have early stage Alzheimer's disease. There's a link below my profile if you want more information. Thank you for mentioning that. Kimmeldew, do you think there is a link between Alzheimer's and Lyme? Yes, absolutely. MJ Lemon, magnesium 3 give me the wildest dreams. Oh, how fun. Benny's Coins, what do you think about medical marijuana? I already answered that. I think it's great for pain. Short term for sleep, it's good. Long term for sleep, I don't think it's good. Black seed oil, does that help? There's some promising data. What do you think about Neuro Apollo? I don't know what that is. Unfortunately, my stimulant medicine is not helping me. Interpret Singh 665. I'm sorry. If stimulant medication is not helping you, I recommend trying something else because it's probably not a good idea to take medicine that isn't helping and not giving you medical advice. Forward, not straight. Has there been much research on desmopressin removing plaque? I don't know. And the big deal is not removing plaque. It's actually growing new synapses. Removing plaque is helpful. Curcumin not only it reduces plaque, but it also helps prevent plaque. So if you want to prevent and remove plaque, curcumin has shown to do that, and curcumin is very safe. Oswald, can we take part in the study if my mom? So the study's only for people in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, because that's where I can send stuff to, and I'm more familiar with the laws. I'm sorry, I can't participate in Australia, but thank you. Maybe someday. And if you really want to participate, maybe we can figure out a way for me to send you supplements. I don't know what it's going to cost to send supplements across the seas, or you just might be able to get some. And I can see if I can help you find some. So yeah, I don't know. A couple people have reached out to me from Australia. I don't know if it makes sense to do an Australia study, but we'll see. If you apply, just stay in contact. Maybe in 3 to 6 months we'll do something. I'm not sure though, but thank you. And then see if you can get aniracetam. If you can't be in the study, just get your mother some aniracetam. Search for it in your country. I don't know if it's legal in your country, so I'm not giving you legal or medical advice, but see if it's legal. See if you can get it there. That could be really helpful to your mother. Shout out for amazing healthy habits. Thank you, girl, great. Forward not straight. Thank you. You're welcome. Be okay. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome. It looks like we're wrapping up. Are psychedelic mushrooms good for the brain? Let's end on this one. This one's really, really fun. Are psychedelic mushrooms good for the brain? This is from Verbalo 3. So according to Paul Stamets, I had the great opportunity to sit on a panel, actually moderate a panel with Paul Stamets at Burning Man. Paul Stamets is the world's leading expert on mushrooms. Check him out on Joe Rogan. He shared that when you take psilocybin mushrooms with lion's mane and niacin, I recommend a B complex instead of niacin. I'll tell you why. That promotes neurogenesis in people with Alzheimer's disease, measured by their ability to tap effectively. Tapping is a measurement of, of motor movement. And so that improves their ability to tap correctly. And so this is a really, really big deal. And so neurogenesis is the growth of new brain cells and new neural connections. And so a low dose of psilocybin mushrooms with lion's mane and a B complex helps neurogenesis. Now, why a B complex instead of niacin? Well, your brain thinks, or your body thinks, that the B vitamins are basically the same. They're sister molecules or cousin molecules. They look very similar. So if you have a lot of niacin, your body might excrete B6 along with niacin. You don't want that. So take all the B's together. That way you get lots of B vitamins, and you don't run the risk of being short any of the B vitamins. So that's psychedelic mushrooms. There's research so those are very helpful. I live in Boulder, in Denver, Colorado. Psychedelic mushrooms are decriminalized. Psychedelic mushrooms are great for stopping smoking. Smoking cigarettes is terrible for your brain and body and your overall health. Psychedelic mushrooms with a psychedelic psychotherapy session have shown to stop smoking 80% of the time. That is amazing. One session stopped smoking in 80% of the people for, I think it was 3 months. So just amazing. So great research in psychedelics. Rick Doblin's doing research with MDMA and post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's really promising. Psychedelic psychotherapy, we're just getting started. We don't know how it works, but we do know it's very, very promising. In general, it's very, very safe. Please check with your local laws to see what's legal for you, and work with a reputable therapist if it is legal. And psychedelics are showing to be of great benefit to the brain, helping with not only disorders but also just overall mental health, helping soldiers come back with PTSD. It's a really, really big deal. Please talk with your local and state governments to try to make it legal. The federal government may come along, but so I live in Colorado, where we have passed laws at the state level to supersede the federal government regarding marijuana and now regarding mushrooms. I've recently petitioned City Council here in Boulder to legalize or decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms and other plant-based entheogens. These are, other plant-based psychedelics. So please get involved in your local government and petition them to legalize or decriminalize psychedelics, for not only for recreational use, but more importantly for medicinal use, so that people can use them safely and effectively and without trouble with the law to protect their brains and ideally grow new brain cells. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I love you. I so appreciate you being here. I'm glad I can be of service. Please take what you use today and do something valuable with it. Implement it. I love that people are giving up alcohol, eating more mushrooms, buying books, doing exercise, promoting sleep. This is really, really great. I have some more free resources for you below my profile. There's a link to a free masterclass. Hope that's helpful to you. If you know someone who has early stage Alzheimer's disease or is really concerned about preventing Alzheimer's, that is the work I specialize in. If you watch the masterclass, there's an opportunity to work with me. So please let me know if I can be of help there. Under my profile are also some supplements that I have found helpful. You don't need to take them, but those are some things that I like. And there's also a link to the study that I'm doing with huperzine A and aniracetam. So if you want to participate in that, please click there, and then please share this information with people that you know. There's so much great information out there that can help people prevent Alzheimer's, improve their memory, stop memory loss, and live healthier lives. Please share that with other people. And I'm really honored that you chose to spend your evening with me. I really love sharing this information. Thank you for your questions. I love you. God bless you. I will talk to you soon. Sorry, I just wanted to stay on and see all the hearts and all the shares. Really appreciate it. Oh my, so many hearts. Thank you. I love y'all.